Hello everyone, my name is Sam and I talk about my experience as a trans person with chronic illness. If that sounds like something you want to hear or know more about, then please do click subscribe. Today I'll be talking about the TFL Please Offer Me a Seat Blue Badge scheme. The Please Offer Me a Seat badge can be ordered and worn by anyone who wants to signify to others that they may not be able to stand up whilst on public transport. This badge can be really great if you want to signify to others that you have an invisible disability or injury and promotes others to offer you a seat without you having to verbally ask for it. It's really great because this scheme is completely free and it's offered on a no questions asked basis. A lot of other similar schemes are kind of understandably means tested, but not everybody can get something like PIP, but it won't change the fact that they're having difficulties standing up. I've personally found it to be really great, especially when I'm commuting. I'm a young looking person who generally looks quite fit, and I think a lot of people wouldn't assume that perhaps I might actually need a bit of help. When I'm particularly fatigued, in a lot of pain, or when my slip disc really acts up, being able to sit down for that half-an-hour journey really makes a huge difference. It's not all completely perfect, there's no guarantee that people will offer you a seat just because you're wearing a badge. There have been many times where I've seen several people look at my badge but not offer me a seat. Of course, it could be the case that they also really need the seat, but it probably wasn't the case every single time. It can feel quite vulnerable to wear the badge sometimes, especially in the early days, so to see people see it but not acknowledge it was a little bit difficult and kind of discouraging at times too. But there have been some moments that remind me that some people are just really great, and I do want to share them with you guys today. One time, a lady who was a sardine beside me in a really busy tube carriage asked me why I didn't just ask people for a seat. I just sort of shrugged. I was wearing my headphones and quite frankly wasn't particularly expecting to have a conversation with anyone. I'd also kind of reached that point where I'd given up and almost forgot that I was wearing a badge in the first place. But then she started explaining how when she was pregnant, she really reached a point where she just didn't give a crap anymore and she would just get up to people and tell them that they are to get up and give her a seat. I gotta say, that's not really my style of doing things. However, she was on a mission, she got up, she went across to the other side of the carriage for me, told people that they should get up for me because I needed a seat, and then happily watched me as I managed to sit down. I had my seat, it felt like a small triumph, but I was admittedly a little bit embarrassed for basically the rest of the journey. However, I did really appreciate that she just saw that I had a badge, didn't question it, just accepted that I was a person who needed to sit down. But the other time was pretty hilarious because it involves a drunk person. I was stood up. It wasn't actually that busy, but all of the tube seats were taken, so I couldn't sit down. On board's a very drunk couple, and the guy walks straight over to me and asks if I need a seat. I nodded, and then he drunkenly exclaimed to the whole carriage that I was a young man who needed a seat and that somebody should give this little lad a break and let him sit down. I couldn't help but laugh a bit. To be honest, quite a few people were laughing, but someone did get up and I did get to sit down, and me and the drunk couple just sort of exchanged looks for the rest of the journey and sort of giggled to ourselves every now and then because I guess it was just quite funny. Again, it might have just been the alcohol talking, but I appreciate that the guy had the confidence that I really needed but lacked in that moment. There are a lot more times the badge was successful for me, and they're just a lot less interesting than the really drunken couple and the person who used to be pregnant who had quite strong feelings about people who need a seat sitting down. Most of them were pretty uneventful, just someone catching the badge going, oh, do you want to sit down? Usually without words, to be fair. I feel like a lot of Londoners do that. It's more of that like thing that we do. Do you know what I mean? I think if you're from London, you probably know what I mean. So yeah, it does work. It's not always going to work. It's not guaranteed, but it can be pretty great. If you feel like this badge is something that you benefit from, then I will link it in the description for you to sign up. Like I said, it's free, so kind of no harm done really. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that this video could have helped you. I am curious though, does your local transport system have a similar scheme? Do let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you want to keep updated, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.